It's time to start Southwestern Athletic Conference play here on the CatEye Network. Hello and a very warm welcome to Moore Gymnasium on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company alongside Cheyenne Murillo and Henson White. Henson, it's the Cats, it's the Rattlers. Here we go again. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, the Rattlers and the Wildcats play each other in darn near every sport imaginable, and it's always a big occasion. You know, in football, obviously they have the classic, but even on the hardwood, we have a little classic here for our first game of the 2024 season, first game of SWAC play. And look for the Wildcats to continue to try to play as well as they've been playing throughout this early season.
The Wildcats are hot, 9-4, their best out-of-conference record for a decade. They face a Florida A&M team who is just 1-10, but have faced a gauntlet of tough teams throughout the country under a brand new head coach, Bridget Gordon, but it will be important for their talisman, Ariana Grizzle, to get going fast if the Rattlers want to steal one from the Wildcats here today.
Yep. Grizzle is their key player, graduate student from Toronto, Canada. She is going to be their talisman, you'd say. And if she doesn't get going, the Rattlers will have a tough time winning this game.
Rattlers in the green, Bethune-Cookman in the gold. It's a gold out at Moore Gymnasium as Chanel McDonald attacks by Grizzle, but she traveled before she put in the basket.
I mean, that's what you want to see from her. You just don't want her to obviously make that travel. Good tough shot in the interior, and it just doesn't work out for her there with that travel.
First possession for FAMU. Of course, they're led by Ariana Grizzle, who is shooting the best shooting percentage of anybody in the SWAC, but that won't go for Grizzle. She wears number 5. Here's Chanel Wilson, the top scorer for Bethune-Cookman at 13.1 points a game, actually down from her average of 16 last year, but she has a better supporting cast around her than she has in years previous, like Chanel McDonald, who hits the baseline jumper.
Chanel McDonald makes up for that traveling mistake earlier, makes a tough little interior jumper there, about 10, 15 feet out, and a good start from the Wildcats offensively.
Now, the question of who is going to guard Grizzle is an important question coming into the game. Right now, it is Deshante Edwards, who last year led the SWAC in steals, blocked down low from Tucker, and it'll be BCU ball that goes off the foot of Subirats.
Tough defensive possession, something we've seen from the Wildcats all year, well, all last year, late last year, and they'll look to continue it here as FAM presses up. But that is easily broken by the Wildcats offense, though.
The Wildcats have struggled at times offensively, of course, in a loss to North Carolina A&T a couple of weeks ago. They only shot 28% for the floor. Here's Tucker for 3 off to the left, rebounded by FAMU. But the star of the show for the Wildcats is their defense. They give up a SWAC best 57.5 points per game, but a baseline runner is good from Grizzle, who averages 17.9 points a game, leads this team in free throw percentage, field goal percentage, points, assists, steals, and blocks.
Yep. pretty much the team's leader in around every stat except for three-point percentage, which is their center, which is different than a lot of other, a different thing than you'll find with a lot of other teams as that ball is turned over by BCU.
Yeah, they tried to go backdoor with the pass from Wilson to Edwards, but it was kicked off of a foot and FAMU grabbed it. This is Yvette Subirats from Barcelona, Spain, transferred from Ball State. She'll run the offense as the primary guard. Blows by 2, now 3 Wildcats, and scores.
Yeah, tough layup there. And if you hear that last name a little more than you'd probably think, she has a sister that's also on the team. So don't get confused if you hear that last name pretty often.
Aina and Yvette, both from Spain. Wilson fires a long triple and knocks it down to the delight of the Moore Gymnasium crowd, a almost composite crowd, which last year was a rarity for the women's games.
Yeah.
But the people know how good this team is, and they want to watch them play.
Yeah. People love watching winners, and you know these students are coming back in from checking in to back into Bethune-Cookman, and they're gonna love seeing their Wildcats women's team perform well.
First steal of the day goes to Bethune-Cookman. They do that better than pretty much anybody else in the conference. McDonald nail jumper, no good. Nice box out by Subirats to get the board over Chanel McDonald.
Look for the Wildcats to work that ball inside as they've been doing. Even though this is a taller team, a beautiful move there. It doesn't go in for the FAMU possession there.
Yeah, behind the back from Grizzle to get away from Deshante Edwards, who has the unenviable task of guarding Grizzle today. Here is Edwards on the offensive end. Just a couple minutes gone by here, first quarter. Omaria Tucker hands off to Wilson on the wing. McDonald looking for some off-ball action. The ball kicks off her foot and is stolen by Grizzle, and then Grizzle turns it right back over to Kerrigan Dunn. Wilson attacks, kicks to the corner. Tucker for 3, off the front of the rim.
That was an interesting possession. It flips hands, almost flips hands again.
Dunn tries to keep it in, steps on the baseline. Kerrigan Dunn leads the SWAC in steals. So in consecutive years, this Wildcats team has had a player lead the SWAC in steals. Last year it was Deshante Edwards. This year right now it's Kerrigan Dunn. And it just goes to show what kind of brand of basketball Janelle Creighton wants to instill upon her team.
Yeah. Coach Creighton wants this team to be a defensive juggernaut, obviously. Be very fast with their hands.
That'll go off of Kayla Clark and out. It'll stay with the Rattlers. They bring in the size. Jalea Sharp, the 6'3" center, is in, and also Olivia Delancey, the 6-foot tall, listed as a guard.
Yeah. It was very interesting. When she was lining up against on the outside in the wing, I was a bit confused. I was like, well, is that a center? But, you know, 5'10", especially in the women's game, is really tall. So it's going to be an interesting matchup to have a tall guard. It's not something you see a lot in the women's game and in the SWAC specifically. This
could be a defensive, low-scoring matchup. Grizzle dances, can't hit the layup. Rebound comes down to Wilson. Wilson wants to push the pace. Cats have a 3-on-2. Extra pass. Deshante Edwards, bucket and the foul.
And one from Deshante Edwards. Fast break opportunity. Well-worked possession. Gets it to the open lady in the paint. And she puts away a tough jumper, tough layup there.
And we talked about this, Henson, before we went on air today about converting fast break, converting easy opportunities, and the first time passed with flying colors.
Yep. If you're a Wildcat fan, you want this Wildcat offense to be consistent offensively. They've been lacking in that a little bit, but obviously coming out the gates well with that fast break opportunity.
And one converted. 8-4 early on for Bethune-Cookman. And now they bring a little bit of a full court press. Grizzle between her legs stays with the dribble, kicks to the corner for Nashanti Gilbert. Gilbert drives through the lane, pushed out by McDonald. Edwards almost rips that away from Grizzle. Into the post for Sharp. Sharp works on her fellow center, Kayla Clark, and travels. Good defense by Kayla Clark.
Yeah, that was a great defensive possession. Grizzle had the ball for most of it, trying to just find some bit of space to shoot or make an opportunity for her teammates, but has to get it down to the paint. And that's where Kayla Clark has an amazing defensive possession, forcing a travel. Wildcats ball now. Chanel Wilson bringing the ball up the court.
8-4, 5 minutes in, halfway gone in this first quarter. Chanel Wilson walks into a triple, leaves it short.
Open opportunity, just couldn't make it there. Grizzle takes the ball down the court, attacks.
We'll get fouled and we'll go to the line. And the one, Grizzle does lead this team in free throw percentage, but also free throws taken. She is 33 of 43 as we hit the first media timeout. SWAC conference continues for VCU basketball, and we need your support next weekend. Come out and catch all the VCU hoops action Saturday, January 13th, as we host Grambling State for a doubleheader. The women set to tip things off at 2 p.m. with the men at 4. Tickets start at $15 or free with a student ID. Can't make it to more? Catch all the action live on youtube.com/CatEye Network. First time out, first chance to bring in Sabrina, who is with us here table side. Sabrina, what did you see in the first 5 minutes?
Wildcats are coming out the gate with the first game being back at the home. I think it's a wonderful idea that all the students that are coming back and moving in. A lot of great defense that are being played and a great offense as well. I'm very interested to see how FAMU is going to play with their 1-10 record, and so with our Bethune-Cookman University as well, especially with the history and the rivalry that we have between each other. So it's kind of interesting to see how this game is going to play out. All in all, I think it's going to have great energy.
Talk about the crowd a little bit, Sabrina. I touched on it a little bit, but last year, for these women's games, 2 o'clock on a Saturday, usually this arena would be dead. Maybe 20, 30 people in here. It is jam-packed. Something usually reserved for the men's teams.
Right, and I actually am very excited about that, especially since we need a lot more support in women's basketball, women's sports, period. So it's very exciting to see how this season is going to look like with our students and how everybody's going to interact this year.
Thank you, Sabrina. We'll hear from you during timeouts today and at halftime as well. Michael Torello, Henson White with you on the broadcast for the first conference game this season for Bethune-Cookman University. It's always a different feeling it's in conference play. You can play non-conference games and tough opponents in-state and out-of-state, and your record can be what it is, but nothing matters until you get to conference play.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're playing for a ranking, those non-conference games are really just tune-up games to set you up for your conference play. That's how you get to the tournament. You could go undefeated non-conference, but if you don't win any of your conference games, it won't matter. So,
and of course, in a conference like the SWAC, which does not take all teams to the conference tournament, only 8 of the 10 teams go. 8 of the 12 teams, go, as Grizzle misses her first free throw. It's really important to start racking up those wins and racking them up early so you have a cushion later in the year.
Yep, and especially at home, you want to win these home games so that when you go other places, you're not playing from behind, essentially, with your record.
Grizzle hits 1 of 2, 3-point contest. Some token pressure showed by the Rattlers. Here's Kerrigan Dunn, skips it across to Clark. Back to Chanel Wilson, and here we go. Watch the horns action. They go left. Wilson, no chance to put up a shot. McDonald across to Dunn. Dunn against Grizzle. Screen. Dunn. Extra pass. Down low to McDonald, and she gets fouled. That's a beautiful play. Henson, they started off the horns action, drove left, drew the zone to the left, which caused some open lanes on the other side.
Yep, that's exactly how you draw that up. If you're a coach, you want to draw all of that defensive attention to the opposite side. And if everyone's going to go to that right side, obviously a lot of people are going to be open on that left side, or vice versa in this case. So it's an important early showing, especially for McDonald, who's gotten a lot of action early in this game.
Yeah, and when that defense shifts and you have the open player underneath, the defense is either going to collapse back to you and foul you or give you an easy layup.
Yeah.
1 of 2 for Chanel McDonald, the transfer from Warner. We had the Warner women's team in the building a couple weeks ago. So Chanel got a chance to play against her old coach and old teammates. Coast to coast for the layup goes Olivia Delancey, the sophomore from St. Petersburg.
A lot of ISO play out of this FAMU team.
Whistle and a stoppage of play. Referee not happy with, we had a substitution that was missed as DeShante Edwards checks back in, and that's something that the Wildcats cannot afford, right? Easy layups, easy drives through the lane. You've got to switch on defense. You got to bring help when those attacks come to the glass.
Yep, and especially considering those aren't even, both of those ISO plays that we've seen were both from not their key woman here in Grizzle, rather, not Grizzly.
Yeah.
Thinking of the Bears. But
FAMU forces a turnover. They've been really playing that high press style, trying to trap the Wildcats along the midcourt line, but then Nishadi Gilbert just loses it out of bounds. Yeah. Nishadi, one of 2 players on this team that transferred in from Daytona State, the other being Haley Brennan.
Yep, 10 minutes down the road from Bethune-Cookman's campus, so it's very interesting to think about how they came back down International Drive.
Rattlers continue to trap. DeShante Edwards against Grizzle, drives left hand, spinning, laying it up, no good. Last touched by Grizzle, and it'll be a Wildcat ball out of bounds. DeShante Edwards, not really known as the best offensive player, only averaging 6.5 points a game, but if she's gonna face guard Grizzle, she's gonna need to do some Grizzle-esque things offensively.
Yeah. Grizzle is an offensive juggernaut for this FAMU team, so if you can get a player that's gonna at least put up similar production. We're not expecting her to match her completely, but if you get similar production out of her this game, FAMU will have a tough time beating the Wildcats.
Edwards to Clark, and a foul is going to go against Delancey again. Great ball movement by BCU.
A tough foul there by the Rattlers, hitting her in the shoulder, making it a very obvious foul, right, I have to say. We're sending the Wildcats to the line, and there's been a lot of fouls early on in this Wildcat FAMU game.
Wildcats not the best free throw shooting team, just 65% as a team on the season. This is Kayla Clark at the line. She misses the first one. Clark just 65% herself from the charity stripe.
And if I'm not mistaken, the Rattlers got in foul trouble last time they came to Moore Gymnasium early last year.
Ended the game with only 5 eligible players. Lots of boxing out down low. FAMU takes the miss, and Wildcats with an empty possession. Deep three, short, offensive rebound, Gilbert.
Out to Grizzle.
She drives, puts it up, no good. It's a cavalcade of bodies underneath, jump ball, and the possession arrow favors the Rattlers, who now trail by just 2.
Grizzle did everything you want out of a player there. Misses her shot, tries to get her own rebound, loses the ball, but does get the possession arrow jump ball, so she keeps possession for her team. That's just tenacity there.
Subirats around Wilson. Short corner baseline, and the ball last touched the Wildcats, so it'll maintain FAMU ball. They'll get a 3rd chance on this possession.
Now, this is one thing that you might not want to see if you're a Wildcat fan, is these long, drawn-out Rattler possessions, because that means there's less time for the Wildcats to score, and if you get down and they're taking all the time out of the clock, it's going to be hard to come back.
And that's going to be a foul against DeShante Edwards. She crashes into Periana Sylvester as she tried to steal the ball. Sylvester a little slow to get up. The Wildcats almost had 2 steals on that sequence. But again, FAMU maintains control of the ball with 2:46 to go here in the first quarter, and now 3 fouls on Bethune-Cookman.
Yep, 3 fouls on Bethune-Cookman, 4 fouls on FAMU. This game has been rather foul heavy to start it out.
This game, I think if it stays low scoring and defensive, kind of plays into Bethune-Cookman's style of play. If FAMU can just kind of run the floor and make this a high-scoring contest, the Wildcats might be in trouble.
If you're not offensively consistent, a low, drawn-out kind of game is what you want, but you don't want to give up easy layups like that for Delancey.
And Delancey puts it in off the feed from Grizzle. Grizzle leads the team in assists with 30. Wildcats got to get the ball over half court. They barely do off of a deflection. Edwards, free throw line jumper, no good. And there's not the Rattlers are doing a good job of preventing drives into the paint with their switching through the zone.
Yep. That half-court kind of trap that they're running is really stopping any offensive momentum for the Wildcats.
Another travel for FAMU, their third of the first quarter, again forced by that defensive pressure, for Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah. Whenever the Wildcats get on these kind of fast break opportunities, it's important for them to score because when that half-court trap gets set up by the Rattlers, they have trouble penetrating it. So it'll be interesting to see as the game goes on if they'll be able to actually figure that out a little bit more, or will they try to work more towards just getting around it.
Wilson didn't take the three. Dunn back to Wilson. Short corner for Edwards, who leaves the ball behind and out of bounds. FAMU has a chance to take their first lead of the game.
Edwards is getting a lot of usage early in this game, along with McDonald, but McDonald hasn't seen the court in a minute. But she's back on there now. So it's going to be, I think it's interesting that we're seeing this much usage out of Edwards. As you said, she isn't our highest scorer by a margin, only averaging 6.5 points coming into tonight.
Yeah. Annabelle Latorre in for Florida A&M, their third player from Spain, from Zaragoza. Transferred from Middle Tennessee State. She's a center, and she'll match up with McDonald. And they left Delancey open. That time she back irons it. Another offensive board. Gilbert will go to the line to try and give the Rattlers the lead.
A lot of rebounds for this FAMU team to start it out. I mean, as you can see, whenever the Wildcats shoot on the offensive side of the ball, a ton of box outs happen. There's only maybe one player. You got maybe Kayla Clark down there trying to get a solo effort rebound back up. But it's overall just a very well thought out game plan for the Rattlers. Ten rebounds total for FAMU.
And it'll be a Wildcat ball, last touched by Latorre. Latorre originally from Spain, but attended John Majeski Academy in the United Kingdom and was a under 18 national champion in the UK.
That's a medal. That's really impressive.
Wildcats continue to struggle with this FAMU zone. Here's a wing triple. It's in and out.
That's how you want to beat the zone, though. You're going to get those mismatches and matchups, and you want to just swing that ball as fast as you can to get it to the open woman. But obviously in that situation, you missed that shot, but they want that shot, essentially.
Lots of contact underneath. The ball goes to Latorre. She works on McDonald, and McDonald forces the miss. Wildcats going to run in transition. Here's Kayla White. Pulls up from the free throw line and sinks it.
Tough shot. It would have been a minute before for the Wildcats scoreless in the last three. So that's a tough bucket and an important one.
Gilbert, handoff, Delancey. She backs up, is guarded by White. Delancey gets a screen, left-hand drive into the lane. Her push shot is good, and we were talking about Ariana Grizzle. It's Olivia Delancey, up to 6 points here in the first quarter, and it's a 12-11 lead for the Rattlers. Last possession of the first quarter, 6 seconds to go. Wilson, a long three off to the right, no good. And the Rattlers have come into Moore Gymnasium and lead after one.
That last shot isn't exactly what you want to see. I doubt that's how they drew it up for just a long three with about 5 seconds left. They had more time to work that ball. But the Rattlers have done a great job rebounding the ball. 12 rebounds total for them compared to the Wildcats 6. 3 offensive rebounds compared to the 1 for the Wildcats. And if you've been watching, they've been boxing them out all game. They haven't really had an opportunity to crash the boards for their offensive possessions. So they already are coming back on defense, which is part of the reason this game is so low scoring.
Let's go back to Sabrina to get her thoughts on the first quarter. Sabrina?
This first quarter is honestly, I came with so much energy. FAMU has honestly surprised me with their defense and their zone defense plays against Bethune-Cookman University. But the Wildcats have been figuring out the plays, how to cut in and get to that hoop. 11 rebounds for FAMU and 6 rebounds for ECU. I think ECU just needs to work a little bit more on their defense on the bottom. But I I think Kayla Clark being back, since we get a little bit more height, and Chanel McDonald working together, it'll be great. It's also Alumni Day today for the Wildcats here, so I'm very excited to see all the alumni who came back to support our very own Wildcats here at this amazing rival game.
What do you think the Wildcats need to do in the second quarter to try and get past this zone defense that has been frustrating them a little bit?
Well, I do see that FAMU Rattlers are taking a lot of shots here at the line, so if Bethune-Cookman continues to rebound and push, because offensively they're doing great, but defensively, if they get those rebounds, I think we'll be able to put some more points up.
Thank you, Sabrina. Nike, the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, gear up on the newest BCU Nike gear at nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Second quarter underway. Michael Torillo, Henson White from the broadcast booth here at Moore Gymnasium. It's a 12-11 lead for the Florida A&M Rattlers here to start the second quarter. Wildcats come into this game as decently hefty favorites. They push it into the middle. DeShante Edwards gets one to rattle down. And after being favorites in this game, especially against your rival, Henson, it's never easy to close one of these out.
No, it's never easy in a game against your rival. You know, we see that all the time in all types of sports. Even if the other team isn't as good on paper, it just matters more because it's that rivalry game. It's a tough shot there by LaTorre.
Great assist from Grizzle as well.
Yeah. And we're seeing a lot of usage from players that aren't Grizzle, and I think that's an important thing to mention. If, you know, you overemphasize on one player, you know, their teammates are going to hurt you if you're paying attention too much to one person.
Starting five back on the floor for the Wildcats, with the exception of Kayla White. She drives, floats it to Tucker underneath. Tucker's double team, loses the ball. Chanel McDonald picks it up and scores.
Yeah. Now that's a better, when the Wildcats work their possessions, they're working them well. I think it's part of the problem is they're trying to take shots too fast. As we've seen, when they work it, they get into the paint, they get into good positions. There's another steal there by Chanel Wilson.
In transition, Kayla White up and under with pizzazz.
A pretty finger roll, I'd have to say there. And, you know, that's what you want to see, fast break opportunities from the steal, quick and easy bucket on the other end, and now you're already back into defense.
And last year, in the game between these two teams here at Moore Gymnasium, as Subirats kicks it out, corner three, Delancey. She's been the hot hand for the green and orange and continues to be, up to 9 points for Olivia Delancey. But the Wildcats went on a terrific second quarter run to pull away and never really looked back in that game.
Wonder if we'll see more of that tonight, or this afternoon rather, as McDonald makes another shot.
And that's what you need to do if you're the Wildcats, right? Attack the zone by passing over it into the short corner and letting your forwards hit those kind of 10 to 5 foot shots.
Yeah. Force them to overcorrect for those kind of shots, and then that allows you to get into the paint more easily or allows you to get more open threes. As an attempt there goes rattling off from Zubarats.
Great job by DeShante Edwards to break the trap in the backcourt. Odd man rush for the Wildcats. Omaria Tucker comes up short on her baseline jumper. And it's been a tough start to the game for Tucker, who is the top three-point shooter on this team, averages 7 points a game, and has been an effective weapon off the bench for the Wildcats, now starting her third game of the season.
Yeah. You want to see her knock that shot down. And another great defensive possession.
Grizzle picks up the loose ball. Delancey, she's got the fire in her fingers, steps in for a long two. Nobody there for the rebound for the Wildcats, but it pinballs around to Kayla White.
That's a great job from Kayla White, going up against a bigger offensive player there from FAMU.
And then McDonald lost the ball. And then Subirats throw it away. And timeout, Bethune-Cookman. I think that's smart by Coach Creighton. It's just a little bit too hectic down there right now. Yeah. Neither team really getting any sort of offensive consistency. Sabrina, do you agree?
I do agree. I believe if Bethune-Cookman continues to play at our pace instead of FAMU's, because it kind of seems like that they're, you know, a little rushing whenever it comes down to taking their shots. So once we start to slow down and take our time to really take the shots, I think points will start to drop.
This could be a day, Sabrina, where the forwards will dominate for both teams. Of course, we've got Ariana Grizzle, but usually it's the guards for Bethune-Cookman, Chanel Wilson, DeSante Edwards, Kayla White, who are the primary scorers. It could be Chanel McDonald and Kayla Clark's day today.
She has been doing her thing these past couple of games as well, so I hope to see that there is difference with the off guards.
I would love to point out DeSante Edwards, who's been playing with a fire in her stomach this game. I mean, if you've been paying attention to her on the defensive, you know, she's against Grizzle. She's doing a great job neutralizing that threat and also switching consistently, keeping her hands in people's faces and in their pocket, trying to get steals. And when that timeout was called, she immediately hit her knees and was like, whoa, had to catch her breath there, but she's been working very hard to start this game out.
I mentioned some sloppy basketball. Both teams, the FAMU has turned the ball over 7 times. The Wildcats have turned it over 6 times.
Which is not something you want to see if you're a Wildcat or a Rattler fan. You want them to keep the ball in their hands, play with a little bit more offensive consistency, stop with the dumb turnovers, you know, mental lapses, losing the ball by simply just letting it go and go out of bounds and losing possession that way, or taking very quick shots when there's ample time on the shot clock and the general clock to work it, get it to your teammates, you know, get a better shooting opportunity, scoring opportunity for your team.
Cats with a 2-point lead as we hit the second half of quarter number 2, a low-scoring one here in this one. I
think the clock didn't go.
The clock didn't go, or the music. The referees got to go talk to the DJ Wild Child.
Got in a little bit of trouble. It's like when your parents come home too early.
You can't play the music during the game. It's not how this works. Kayla White off to Tucker. At the nail done, down low Clark. She works on Grizzle and scores off the window.
A tough bucket there from Kayla Clark in the paint. Drops the shoulder, goes up and under, gets it a tough shot off the backboard. That's what you want, is just a good shot, well-worked possession.
And Kayla Clark's going to be huge for the Wildcats on both ends of the floor today. She leads the SWAC in rebounds per game with over 8.
But FAMU has done a great job of forcing her to be outside. As you can see, she had to switch on that defensive possession. She wasn't in the paint. Easy second chance points for the Rattlers.
Sharp puts it back in as they maintain pace with the Wildcats offensively. White downstairs. Damani Dorsey travels. That's the 4th travel of the game, 2 on each team.
Yeah.
And again, when your adrenaline is going in a game like this, it's easy to make those simple mistakes.
With a crowd like this, you know, you're one extra step, all of a sudden it goes from an offensive possession to a turnover. So it's just one of those things you got to try to calm down, center yourself, not make those mental lapses as the Rattlers take their time on this possession.
Delancey, the sophomore, has it blocked by Tucker, but it comes right back to her. Kick out to the corner for Subidats, and now Periana Sylvester at the end of the shot clock bricks it short.
Yep, shot that from her house, didn't make it though.
But a good defensive possession for the Wildcats. Dorsey into the corner, Tucker, 3-ball.
There you go, Tucker. That's, you know, get her back in the flow of things. And I think that was a Rattler timeout.
Yep. Timeout called by first-year head coach Bridget Gordon. And it's important to note, Bridget Gordon, who took over for Shalon Pillow in the offseason, this is her first head coaching job, but she has no shortage of experience both playing and coaching. Let me just read you off some of the places she's been an assistant coach. Stetson, Georgia State, Wichita State, Kansas State, Cincinnati, New Mexico State, the WNBA, and of course Tennessee under Pat Summitt, where she was a legendary player for Pat Summitt for the Orange and Whites.
Yeah, that is a career CV resume if you've ever heard of one. I mean, that's that's something amazing for the SWAC to have a coach and former player of that caliber in your conference. It always brings up more people that want to show up and show out for that conference. You know, if you go, oh, there's Nick Saban in Alabama, I want to play in the SEC now kind of situation.
Well, and say nothing about her proclivity off the hardwood. On the hardwood, she's an Olympic champion with Team USA. Wildcats by 5. Dancing is Grizzle. Firing too strong. Another offensive board for the Rattlers. And Grizzle whistling a stoppage of play. I don't think the shot clock reset.
Yeah.
And that's lucky for the Wildcats because Grizzle was on her horse and headed toward the rim.
Yeah. That's the last thing. I mean, that's got to feel, it's one of those sucky situations as an offensive player when you have something going well and then something technical happens and all of a sudden we have to restart the possession or change where the shot clock is or the clock didn't go. Especially when you're in the flow of a match or a game, it always is an annoyance to the players, even if you're in a losing-ish situation.
Grizzle, as Delancey drives, step back, no good. Grizzle is now 1 point away from 500 career points, so a milestone we are watching closely this afternoon.
Now, obviously, they're probably going to have something for her when she gets back home to Tallahassee. So,
Clark in the short corner handoff. Dorsey puts it up off the underside of the rim. As the Wildcats try to work a little 1-2 on the baseline. Grizzle wants that milestone, and she gets it.
He brought it up, and immediately she goes, we're not going to bring it up ever again. 500 points for Grizzle. That's an amazing achievement for her career.
Lead back down to 3. I think this one's going to be close, back and forth all game long.
Yes.
And a streel away from Olivia Delancey. She has been everywhere today for the Rattlers. She drives to the baseline, cuts it back. Layup no good, but a foul as a reach-in is called against Kayla Clark as another offensive rebound was grabbed by Gilbert. The 8th offensive rebound of the game for FAMU. The Wildcats have just 1.
Shout out Kayla White for standing her ground there, getting ran into and forcing that miss, but obviously they get the offensive rebound and can recycle possession here.
Deshante Edwards comes back in for the Wildcats.
Well, after a well-deserved rest after how much she was going around that first quarter.
And if you just look at the shooting percentages, the Wildcats are 50% from the floor, FAMU just 34%, but they've had 26 shots to the Wildcats' 20. That comes from those offensive rebounds and extra possessions.
Yeah.
Grizzle fighting on the ground with Edwards. Open three
shot
for Gilbert, missed it short. Good box out by Chanel McDonald.
And a great mental play there to tip it away.
In transition, boom, a triple for Chanel Wilson. That should get her confidence up.
Yep, that was a well-worked rebounding move by McDonald to pass it, tip it out, get it to a player in some space, and allow that fast break opportunity to happen, because otherwise, I don't even know if the Wildcats get that ball there.
Wildcats will try and pressure beyond the three-point line, but this time they leave Delancey open, and Delancey responds with another 3. Already 12 points for Olivia Delancey.
Makes that an overall 2 for 6 night, or 2 for 7 rather, night for the Rattlers here from the beyond the arc.
Tough pass, Tucker corrals it in the corner, a 3, way too strong, missed everything. That was by Kerrigan Dunn.
It was a good idea,
Grizzle
just too much
in
gas.
Transition, layup missed by Brennan. Again, the pace of this game is frantic. Neither team can really settle down.
And now they settle down. Slower possession here for the Wildcats.
Wilson, nice switch on the double screen by the FAMU defense, and the Wildcats will have to reset with 8 to shoot on the shot clock. Edwards blows past a defender, and she's fouled from behind by Aina Subirats. Good play by Deshante Edwards, and we started this broadcast talking about Edwards, not really the best offensive player, but she's had some shifty moves on the offensive side of the ball today.
Yep. Obviously, when you're playing against a player like Grizzle hitting 500 career points, you know that you're going to have to play at least a decently offensively to match that output. You don't want to put all of that scoring on the rest of your team, and she's doing a great job of helping out.
Wildcats continue to struggle from the free throw line, now just 2 of 6.
one thing that the Wildcats haven't been amazing at is free throw shooting. We've seen it come to bite them in other games this season, especially that Jacksonville game and a game against Iona, both at home.
They won both of those games, but they could have won by more if they hit the free throws. That Iona game, of course, Iona came back and forced overtime. A strip, but the Rattlers keep the ball with Delancey. Whistle and a stoppage of play. Is that a backcourt violation? I'm not sure what's going on. Bridget Gordon doesn't know what's going on either.
I think it's still FAMU ball. Wish we had mics for the referees, because I can't read their minds.
But the shot clock started.
Yeah,
the game clock started. I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, it's FAMU ball, down by 4 with 1:30 to go in the first half of action. A low-scoring defensive first half. A steal for Deshante Edwards off a bad pass. Edwards motors to the paint, gets a shot blocked, but the ball will stay with the Cats.
Yeah, she tried to pass it out. She noticed that she wasn't going to get that ball up for a good shot. Tries to get it to her teammate, but the Rattlers, you know, defensively good mental fortitude to know where she was going to go with that ball, knocked it out of bounds, forcing them to recycle possession here.
Wildcats with a baseline in, trying to increase their 4-point lead. Thrown all the way up to the top. Whew, careful, Edwards can't step on the charity or the time stripe. She drives, passes it to Chanel McDonald, and one! What a pass from Deshante Edwards to set that up.
A lot of tough layups for the Wildcats and for the Rattlers. There's been a lot of contact, a lot of fouls. So seeing these tough shots is, you know, if you like good old-fashioned basketball, we got a lot of that here in Moore Gymnasium.
Wildcats will look to take a timeout after the free throw so they can set up their defense and maybe get an extra shot at the end of the half. McDonald swishes one, and it's 31-24.
22.
Another steal for Wilson. Oh, what a tough shot for Wilson.
What a shot by number 22, Chanel Wilson. Great defensive possession. Now you're definitely getting that extra possession if you're for the Wildcats.
Grizzle with Wilson against her. Into the paint for Sharp and a foul.
Little bit too early on the celebration there. Thought we were gonna get a clean block. The ref calls the foul.
Well, the block was clean. They called the foul on Kayla White for reaching in underneath.
Oh, okay. And I think they're in the bonus now. There's been a lot of fouls throughout this first half.
No bonus, but it is a 2-shot foul. And left it short did Jalea Sharp. Sharp from Garland, Texas, a transfer from UNC Wilmington. Lots of Division I transfers on this FAMU team, as Bridget Gordon didn't have a lot of time in the offseason to build this roster.
She's done a good job, though, to get a lot of transfers in, a lot of players
0-2 from the line
into this program.
45 seconds to go. Wildcats will look to slow the game down to get one more shot before the end of the half. Wilson drives, kick out Tucker.
Open.
Catch and shoot off the rim. Offensive board for Kerrigan Dunn.
Knocked out of her hands there by Subarats, Yvette Subarats, but they keep the possession with the Wildcats, and now you only have 20 seconds on the shot clock. But that was...
they throw it away to Grizzle. Grizzle runs the floor, lays it in. And that's exactly what you don't want to happen. The Wildcats could have let the entire second quarter clock run out without giving the Rattlers another point, but they give FAMU a little bit of life. And now with 13 seconds left, they'll just try and get probably Chanel Wilson one good shot at the end of the half.
If you can make a three here, you go into the half with a 10-point lead, but they drive.
Wilson drives, flunks it up.
Tough.
And that's the end of the half. The Wildcats close on an 8-2 run at the end of the half to lead it 35-26. And in a first half where the Wildcats shot 53% from the floor, Henson, it's a little frustrating that we're not up by more, but the Rattlers are playing scrappy. They're playing good defense. They're turning us over. They're getting offensive rebounds and really hanging around in this one.
7 offensive rebounds for the Rattlers compared to just 2 for the Wildcats. They've been boxing us out well during our offensive possessions, and boxing us out well on our defensive possessions as well, causing our players to have to work extra hard to get those rebounds, which is giving them more shot opportunities. They have 30 shots just to our 26, and have been to the line a semi-equal amount of times. 2 for 6 for the Rattlers, 4 for 8 for the Wildcats. Leading scorer, Delancey, player that we didn't highlight much in the beginning of our pre-game little talk, but she's been the major player for them offensively. 2 threes.
Sabrina, your thoughts on a, at times, chaotic first half here at Moore Gymnasium?
Very chaotic. BCU was in the first half. You could see that BCU was playing at FAMU speed in the beginning of that first half. So now that you can see that they're slowing down, they're getting shots being put in. Kayla White and Deshaunte Edwards are coming off the bench with fire under them, and it's very great to see that, you know, the guards are being able to put up the shots instead of, you know, down low. It's a great matchup between these two teams. Olivia Delancey is all over the court as well, as you said earlier, with 12 points at the 2 minutes that was left off, and Grizzle leaving the FAMU as well. So everything's been fluid so far towards the end, so we'll see how the second half goes.
We'll take a break for the halftime interval. When we come back, it's the first half stats and half number 2 here from Moore Gymnasium. You're watching Bethune-Cookman University Basketball on the CatEye Network. Welcome back to Moore Gymnasium as we're about to start the second half between the Florida A&M Rattlers and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. The front end of our double header. Remember, stick around for the second game. It's the men's teams between Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M. That's coming up right after the conclusion of the women's game. Ensign and I and Sabrina will call all the action for you for that one too. Let's take a look at the first half stats from this game because there's some interesting numbers on both sides of the ball. First, for Florida A&M, Delancey leads all scorers with 12 on 5 of 12 shooting, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc, and 4 rebounds. So she's closing in on potentially a double-double. Grizzle has 7, and then Subidats, Latorre, and Sharp all have 2. Gilbert has 1. So outside of Grizzle and Delancey, offense has been hard to come by for Florida A&M.
Yep. And Grizzle doesn't have any assists. They're, you know, their leading assist maker, usually off of having scoring so much per possession that it makes the team compensate for her defensively and then leave people open. I thought she got an assist during the first half, but the scorers table must not have seen it that way. But Grizzle's been out there for pretty much as long as you can be. 19 minutes played in that first half. And she's played well. It's just a good defensive plan from the Wildcats that has allowed Delancey to be their leading scorer. But if you're the Wildcats, you want that. You don't want their best player playing at their best.
For the Wildcats, Chanel McDonald has 10. Chanel Wilson has 10. It's the Chanel and Chanel show in the first half from ECU. Edwards has 6. Kayla White has 4. Omaria Tucker 3. Kayla Clark 2. So again, outside the 2 Chanels, scoring a bit light for the Wildcats, but this has been a defensive game, and we thought it would be.
Yep. Great defensive performance from the Wildcats. 2 steals for both Edwards and Chanel Wilson. McDonald has a steal. Kerrigan Dunn has a steal. Well, you know, that's what you want to see. That's what we were expecting coming into the game. We haven't been surprised defensively by this Wildcats team. I've been slightly surprised offensively at their consistency. 14 for 26, shooting 53.8, 54% from the field, 37% from 3, which is a decent clip. So if they keep up at that rate throughout the second half, it'll be a hard comeback for the Rattlers.
Expect a push from FAMU immediately out the gate in the second half. Do not expect them to fold under the Wildcats' pressure. They will come out, they will fight, they will scrap for everything. Because remember, 2 years ago, Shalon Pillow had not won a game for the Rattlers as their new head coach. They came in here, first conference game of the season, and won on a buzzer beater 3 against the Wildcats. Funnily enough, that was the first game I ever broadcasted for Bethune-Cookman. So a long way back there. But this FAMU team does not know how to quit. Their coach does not know how to quit. They will fight all the way. Wildcats in a home gold trimmed in maroon. It is, of course, gold out day here at Moore Gymnasium. The green trimmed in orange and white for Florida A&M. The Wildcats. No, it will be Florida A&M ball to start the second half as they'll attack the basket to viewers' right.
And look defensively for the Rattlers to come back out in that half-court trap that was working early in the game that they kind of went away from as the game progressed. I think that's going to come back to start this third quarter.
And for the Wildcats, they've got to be better on the glass. This is a Florida A&M team that came into the game as Grizzle drives baseline and scores. The Florida A&M team that came into the game last in the SWAC in offensive rebounds per game at just 8.9. They've already got 7, and it's only through the first half.
I think that means you got to crash the boards more if you're the Wildcats. You got to come in. Oh, wow.
Lots of contact underneath, jump ball, and it'll be Wildcat ball.
Jeliah Sharp did not move, was not phased at all defensively. Just kind of stood there and tried to snatch the ball out like she was playing with a third grader or something.
Well, that's 6'3" Jeliah Sharp against 5'9" Kerrigan. Oh, what a smart move by Kerrigan Dunn. She bounces it off the back of the defender. Tucker open in the corner for 3, just a little bit too long. Battle for the rebound, jump ball. This time the possession arrow goes to Florida A&M. And the Wildcats, in that game, the win against Mercer, they had the lead at the half and then just folded in the third quarter and eventually had to come back and hit a game-winning shot by Chanel Wilson to win that game. So third quarters recently have been the Achilles heel for this Wildcats team.
Coming out of halftime, certain teams get cold. You know, you've been playing, warming up, and then all of a sudden you have this break, and sometimes it doesn't go well for a team.
Grizzle pass to Sharp. Traveling violation. Oh no, an offensive foul, excuse me. I think they would have called her for either one.
Yep, she kind of pushes off there up under the basket, and I guess she pushed too hard for the refs. Getting that offensive foul, giving back possession to the Wildcats.
Nobody in the game with more than 2 fouls on either side. McDonald in the paint, gets it blocked, and then Tucker couldn't save it. So again, cold start offensively in this third quarter for the Wildcats.
Yeah, good job by Tucker trying to keep the ball in, but I mean, in more gym, you have that kind of wall right there, and sometimes it's real scary to see a player go for a loose ball over on that side.
35-28, the Wildcat lead early on in the second half. Wildcats trying to beat FAMU on the women's side for a third consecutive time. They swept the series from the Rattlers going back to last season.
Yep. I was at the game in Tallahassee when they played the women's team, and that was an amazing performance from the Wildcats down up there on the highest of Seven Hills.
Nishani Gilbert's going to go to the line. Coach Creighton not happy with the way that her team has started this second half, so Kayla Clark and Kayla White both come into the game. Chanel McDonald and Kerrigan Dunn check out. It hasn't been a typical Wildcat performance in the steals department, only 6. Of course, this Wildcat team tops in the SWAC, 13.5 per game in steals. Nishani Gilbert, the transfer from Daytona State, but before that spent her freshman year at Northwestern Florida State, but averaged 17 points, 5 boards, and 2 assists for the Daytona State Falcons last year.
Chanel Wilson working the ball, top of the key.
Got to be careful about a push off there, and they'll get a reach-in foul against Sharp. That'll be Sharp's third foul. And so she'll check out for Haley Brennan. And Sharp's been a tough defender in the middle there, and maybe the Wildcats might have some more success in the paint now that she is out of the game.
Yeah, but this Rattlers team has a lot of height in it. As you can see, standing next to all their markers here.
Correction, that is Sharp's 4th foul.
Guess they updated the scores table a little double up, because I was pretty sure she only had 2
Catch and
seconds
shoots.
well.
Wilson missed it. Edwards, the putback. She can't get it to go, but she'll go to the line. And there's an offensive rebound. The Wildcats were so sorely lacking, only 3 in the first half for the Wildcats.
That's what you want. That was a good job by Edwards, a smaller player going in there amongst the trees, so to speak, getting that board, putting it back up, getting the foul. Even though she doesn't make the shot, she has an opportunity to make 2 free ones right here.
Deshante Edwards rolls the first one in from Dallastown, Pennsylvania.
Excitement for that free throw.
A back-to-back county champion at Dallastown High School. Had a career-high 18 points and 6 steals this season in the 2-point loss to FIU back in December. Both free throws there were good to push the Wildcat lead to 7. Grizzle trapped in the backcourt, throws it in front to Subirats. Extra pass under the basket, easy layup for Haley Brennan, and an excellent execution on the pass break there for the Rattlers.
Yep, I thought Gilbert was going to take that open 3, but she's smarter than I am. Sees that open lane opening up for a teammate, makes an easy extra pass.
That's a beautiful drive. Deshante Edwards and 1, and she denied the screen from Clark. She said, I'll just do this all myself, thank you very much.
Deshante Edwards out here with something to prove. We have a huge home fan over here in the corner. Hyping up Deshante Edwards.
Misses the and
misses
one.
The and one there.
That's still 4 straight points for Edwards for the Wildcats. They maintain the lead, 39-32. There's a steal. Tucker in transition, gets it to go, and is rewarded with a huge pop from the crowd here at Moore Gymnasium.
And the Wildcats are looking to pull away, making this a 9-point lead, the biggest lead, tying the biggest lead they've had so far this game. And the Rattlers are going to look to slow down possession because that fast and loose style plays into what the Wildcats want.
They want to turn you over. Grizzle loses the handle, gets it back, shovel to the corner. Delancey just missed that one. But again, the box out is not there for the Wildcats. A 9th offensive rebound for Florida A&M. Delancey a little bit too high on that pass. It rolls out of play, and it'll be FAMU to keep the ball. A little bit of a controversial call there from the referee in the corner. It was actually, and they're going to reverse it. Wildcat ball.
That's the first time in a minute I've seen a referee live change a decision like that.
Well, it happens more often than you think because the official that was looking right at the play was not the one to make the call. It was the back official that made the call. The official was standing there looking right at it. He went up to him and said, no, 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 no. So the Wildcats will have possession. Wildcats have possession up by 9. Janelle Wilson to the corner. White. Back to Wilson. They'll reset. She's face guarded by Gilbert. Floated to Clark. Clark, nice footwork with the spin. And it hangs on the rim and falls.
A tough bucket from Kayla Clark as Moore Gymnasium gets electric. Fade away. Little hezzy there up under the basket. About 10 feet out. And that's just a tough shot to make.
Wildcats a 6-0 run. Here's Subirats.
Kayla White kind of overestimated how much time she had.
And then a foul as Brennan reaches in, and everything's coming up maroon and gold at the moment. But this run started, Henson, when Jalea Sharp left the game, and the Wildcats have had more freedom in the painted area with her not playing.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you have a great interior defender like that, it makes it hard to go in and on the paint, and that's what the Wildcats love to do. So obviously losing that defensive presence has made it much easier for the Wildcats. It's kind of taken off that mental edge to go, oh, we could do it now. That person's not in the game anymore. As they start this run and continue it, Kayla Clark still at the line making the first shot there.
And I have sung Kayla Clark's praises a lot this season. Her progression year on in, she was kind of thrust into the starting role at center as a true freshman because the Wildcats really weren't a big team. They didn't have a lot of height. Last year, she was really the only forward, again, as a sophomore. Now as a junior with some pieces around her, specifically Chanel McDonald, she's been really blossomed into a fantastic post player.
Yeah. Sometimes the best thing you can have is some help, and getting that help has really helped with her development as a player. Especially this season, we've seen a lot of great performances from her.
Grizzle close to a 5-second violation. Delancey thought about pulling up from the moon. She'll drive into a double team. Grizzle for 3, no good. Battle for the rebound, won by the Rattlers as they take it away, and it's put back up and in by Delancey. I think that Wilson initially pulled that rebound down and then had it stripped.
She did. She pulled that rebound down, and then there were 2 Rattler defenders around her. Nobody came back to help her out for an outlet pass, so she kind of just got stripped because she couldn't really do anything about it.
Clark in the post, baseline jumper. That is a beauty.
That is a Dirk Nowitzki-esque shot. Just gets it to the post, just immediately takes a fadeaway jumper and makes it.
47-34 is the Wildcat lead. Delancey trying to change that. Too strong. Another offensive rebound, this time by Gilbert. And you can tell both Janelle Creighton and assistant coach Sherry Tucker screaming at the Wildcats to box out. 11 offensive rebounds on the day for FAMU, but the Wildcats delete it 47-34. What have you made of this third quarter, Sabrina?
The Wildcats has definitely slowed down their play, so you can see that everything is much more fluid and that shots are definitely dropping. Kayla Clark, who's definitely bottom, that she's definitely been helping out, and I've seen the tremendous growth from when she started as a freshman, as you said earlier before. So it's really good to see how, like, you know, sometimes you just have to be thrown in the fire to really see how much you can grow. So
what do the Wildcats need to do to get a defensive rebound? The Rattlers are swarming them on the offensive glass right now.
I think my decision still stands from, you know, first half of them staying at the bottom and really rebounding and boxing out. As you saw in FAMU was boxing out, you know, Wildcats. It was hard for the Wildcats to get the ball. So I believe if the Wildcats are able to put that same amount of pressure to the Rattlers, then I think it's going to go fall out.
Make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University Athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online at the Bethune-Cookman online store. Go to bcuathletics.com and click on Shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com and click on Shop. And stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram. Give BCU Athletics, that's BCU_Athletics, a follow for the latest on BCU basketball. Follow at BCU WBB for women's basketball and BCU Hoops for men's basketball on Twitter and Instagram. Our social media director, Autumn, down there doing a great job of keeping everybody engaged and informed who can't tune into our broadcast or be here at Moore Gymnasium. Michael Torello, Henson White, along for the ride in this first SWAC home contest of the season. Got to get the ball across the time stripe. They do. Tucker.
Thought she was going to take that shot, passes it out to Kayla White. Tries to get it down to Clark.
Delancey draped all over
wide
her.
Open.
Tucker for three. Oh, she almost banked it in. And it's a Rattler ball, excuse me. I thought that last came off of Delancey.
Yeah. Little bit too much sauce on the shot by Tucker, but a good shot. That's the look you want for her. She is a good three-point shooter.
She's the best the Wildcats have at 42.3%. She's hit one already today. Wildcats trap, but that leaves Delancey open on the baseline through a double team. A wild layup doesn't go, and a foul underneath the displacement. I think they're going to call that on Clark. We'll see. They do call it on Clark.
Interesting foul there. I was watching the arc of the ball. I wasn't really paying attention to the displacement foul there, but
yeah, she moved her hips under and prevented the shooter from landing, and that's a foul.
James Harden loves to do that, so.
Wildcats holding on to a 13-point advantage at the moment. Really trying to make that defense work here in this second half. Grizzle, backdoor pass.
Backdoor bounce pass, that was pretty.
Layup too strong, but another offensive rebound by FAMU. Delancey through the lane, out of bounds, off of Kayla White. And there's going to be 1 second left on the shot clock because the initial layup did not hit the rim.
Didn't hit the rim at all. So they're going to have to just immediately chuck it up. An alley-oop play possibly.
They get it in and turn it over. White in transition. Euros. Oh! Kayla White hits the Euro in the face of Delancey.
Yep. Hits the Euro on 3 European players. So that's interesting. But tough shot there. Grizzle. Oh, wow.
And finally a box out. Yep. As the Wildcats get a rebound. White loves to push that pace in transition, but now they'll slow it down. Going back to that Euro step, Kayla White is one of those players that was missing a lot of those transition buckets as the Wildcats will maintain possession out of bounds off Delancey. In the games against Jacksonville and against Iona, it's good to see her convert those tonight.
Yep. It's a great thing to see there. And then McDonald, that possession almost went a different way if she kind of stayed where she was, but the defender does a good job forcing her behind, and then the pass just kind of ends up in no woman's land.
Step back, mid-range, twisted. Chanel doing Chanel things as normal.
And the Rattlers are kind of getting pulled away from as time ticks away in this third quarter. 51-34, almost a 20-point lead for the Wildcats.
They've hit 5 of their last 6 shots. That's a great pass to find Delancey.
Grizzle is doing a great job trying to get the ball to her teammates in good positions. You've seen bounce passes, every type of outlet pass Open shot.
Responding in kind with the passing off the top of the backboard. Offensive rebound for Tucker.
Tucker got that rebound like a wide receiver.
Edwards drives, gets a screen. Oh, Chanel McDonald goes to the line, and now it's the Wildcats crashing the offensive boards.
Yep. When you start losing that energy and losing that pace, it comes harder to, you know, really box out for those rebounds. And the Wildcats are taking advantage, just crashing the boards, putting shots up, getting the rebound. And it's really demoralizing as a defense to watch a team keep recycling possession like that, which is part of the reason the Wildcats have started to kind of pull away in this third quarter.
Chanel McDonald at the line. McDonald, I mentioned the transfer from Warner at the NAIA level and has adapted to life at the Division I level very well, averaging 9.2 points and 4.1 rebounds.
One of the biggest players on this Wildcats team, so obviously you want her to be crashing the boards as much as she can, and she's done a pretty good job of that this game.
And one of the best free throw shooters the Wildcats have, shooting 70% on the season and 3 for 4 today.
The Wildcats try to press there. Didn't really work. The Rattlers get the ball up regardless.
Delancey just going to do it all herself, the sophomore from St. Petersburg. And I think the Rattlers may have found their volume scorer of the future here. There's Grizzle, this is her last season, and the graduate student originally from Toronto. Spent the first couple of years of her career at Alabama and then last year at Florida A&M.
From the 6, as they say. Tough free throw line shot from McDonald.
An offensive rebound by Dorsey, who hasn't had a lot to do tonight. Wilson, oh, what a pass! Chanel to Chanel connection for the layup.
Pretty pass there. Getting an open shot from McDonald there. That's what you want to see offensively.
Left-hand drive, pull up and one. Wow. Olivia Delancey up to 18 and a chance for more.
Yeah. I didn't necessarily see the foul. I think she pushed her while she was fading away there.
Yeah, you got pushed in the back. But
Delancey's doing a great job scoring, but it's what's keeping the Rattlers in this game as the Wildcats kind of just match her scoring. And one of the things that I pointed out is if Grizzle's their best player, she's 4 for 12 this game. And if she's, you know, scoring more consistently, this game is much closer.
Well, I think the Wildcats are doing a great job. Every time that Grizzle gets the ball, they're playing her very tight defensively and often double teaming as the Rattlers show pressure and get a steal. It's Delancey. And she's going to go to the line again as she gets the foul on Wilson.
That half-court press that I was talking that they were using earlier in the game, I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if they brought it back out. They bring it back out and immediately get a turnover. Delancey gets sent to the line again.
The end of my point is that because the Wildcats have been so focused on Grizzle, it's allowed Delancey to kind of have a free run of the weak side. And she puts the free throw up and in. Florida A&M just 2 for 10 from the line before that. Delancey's hit all 3 of the free throws for the Rattlers in this game. Grizzle, Gilbert, Subirats, and Sylvester all 0 for 1 from the line. Back to a 12-point game. It's been as much as 19. Full court press comes again. This time the Wildcats break it. Dorsey, pull up from 5 feet. Nice.
Tough shot over Sharp there. She gets her hand in her face, but it doesn't really matter. She hits it.
Remember, Sharp playing with 4 fouls, so if you're the Wildcats, maybe you just want to drive at number 25, try and get her out of the game.
Yeah, but I think that's what
Delancey, almost stripped by Edwards. She gets it back.
Switch.
This is a tough defensive possession. Wildcats take it away. Extra pass, back door. Oh, the layup is blown by Kerrigan Dunn. And now FAMU has an odd man rush.
3-on-1, she takes the jumper instead of taking that extra pass, and it doesn't work out.
But Sylvester scrambling, trying to get the ball and make up for it. And now it's lost loose at the top of the key. Jump ball, Wildcat possession. That may be one of the craziest sequences we've had all season. And a great opportunity for Kerrigan Dunn, and she missed the layup in transition.
I mean, you want her to make that fast break layup. You had the odd woman rush rather, and it just doesn't work in the Wildcats' favor, giving the Rattlers a fast break opportunity that they blow. Instead of taking the extra pass, she shoots a pull-up jumper that she misses, and then the ball just bounces around about everywhere. FAMU not running that 2-2-1 zone that they've been running all game.
They've switched to either the full court press or a more man defense. Now they're back in zone. They almost get a turnover. The ball's batted right back to Kerrigan Dunn. Oh, I thought Damani Dorsey was going to take that three. Instead, it's a flat nail play, and the screener is just bowled over, and that's a foul.
Yeah, Deshante Edwards got open on the backdoor cut, and all the defenders were pulled up on the screen there, and then McDonald kind of just gets run over by the Rattler defenders.
Chanel McDonald, originally from Lake Wales, also a volleyball player, and 6'2". You'd kind of expect a player like that to play both. A lot of people growing up playing both volleyball and basketball now, in both men and women.
Yeah. One of the things about being tall, especially if you're tall at a younger age, they kind of force you to play center or power forward your whole career. And that can really mess up certain players' developments. If you're 6'1" and you stay 6'1" from the time you're about 14, 13 to when you're 18, and you've been playing as a center for most of your career, as McDonald drains both those free throws, it really can mess up how you play when you're older, because if you're 6'1", you're not going to back down anybody who's really that much taller than you.
Subirats ushered to the corner. Delancey catch and shoot for the wing. Oh, a buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter. Rattlers not going away. 59-46 as we finish frame number 3. Come be a part of BCU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. If you or your business is interested in partnering with us here on the CatEye Network, you can reach out to the Wildcats Athletic Communications Department at bcusportsinfo@cookman.edu. That's bcusportsinfo@cookman.edu. Sabrina's been watching this matchup with a vested interest. Sabrina, what do you have for us?
Honestly, I think that halftime break was needed because both teams are playing more fluidly, and you could actually see that the plays are being ran. For our Wildcats, you can see that points are being dropped. They're actually starting to see that they're attacking the boards a lot more, too. But you can see at the last second as well, the Rattler is starting to catch a little fire. So we're going to see how this fourth quarter looks like. What do you think?
I think the Wildcats are going to have to stop Olivia Delancey. That's the one thing. And I think if it's a difference between letting Delancey beat you and letting Grizzle beat you, I would say double Delancey now because she is the proven quantity in this game.
She's been all over the court today, defensive-wise, offensive-wise, on the bottom. So we'll just have to see how this goes.
For the Wildcats as well, 3 players in double figures, McDonald leading the line. So it's a battle of the 6-foot-plus forwards today with Delancey and McDonald. What have you seen out of her play?
Honestly, I think the great matchup will be between McDonald and Delancey. So we'll see how fourth quarter goes for them as well.
All right, thank you, Sabrina. Henson, fourth quarter on tap. It's put up or shut up time, as they say in the business.
Yeah. The Rattlers are definitely going to look to go to that 2-2-1 zone. The Wildcats have been struggling with it for most of the game. Every time they go to it, they'll maybe break it one time and then they'll just completely go away from it. They play man-to-man at half court after that original 2-2-1 zone kind of thing that they're running. And I do not fully understand why they keep shifting away from it when it's working and then go into play this kind of zone man defense half court thing that doesn't really exactly work against this Wildcats offense. So look for them to bring it back out and hopefully stay with it if you're a Rattlers fan.
13 points the gap as we start quarter number 4. Olivia Delancey with 24 for FAMU, also 5 rebounds. It's going to be Nishanti Gilbert to start. She drives into a double team. Sharp. Back out Gilbert. Nowhere to go. Back to Grizzle. Grizzle at the free throw line, 8 to shoot. Tries to throw it under the basket to Subirats. And Sharp has to go collect in the corner. 1 to shoot, a heave. Wow. Almost went. And Chanel McDonald grabs the board as a Rattler player falls down. 5-on-4 for the Wildcats. Short corner. Deshante Edwards
through the traffic.
Turns and travels.
Oh, I thought she got fouled for a second there, but she travels. And Deshante Edwards, I was about to say, has been fouled an awful lot, getting down there in the paint amongst the trees, amongst the weeds, and just putting those shots up and getting fouled relatively consistently. I wish we had a, stat specifically for who's been fouled the most, but she's done a great job offensively.
Edwards, 10 points tonight. Her second highest scoring output of the season. Grizzle, transition triple, no. Good box out for the rebound for Bethune-Cookman. Kerrigan Dunn to the lane. And it just spins out. Wildcats getting no love on the glass at either end. Delancey, no, blocking foul.
Tries to set her, doesn't set her feet quick enough, gets kind of bowled over, gets the foul called on her, and allows the possession for the Rattlers to kind of reset here. Rattlers
go small as Sharp comes out for Sylvester, and the Wildcats trade big for big with Kayla Clark coming back in. And this is a risky move for Janelle Creighton because Chanel McDonald has been the hotter player today. Clark, 8 points, 3 of 3, 2 for 4 from the line, but Chanel, 16 on 5 of 8.
But they might be trying to take advantage of the lack of Sharp out there offensively to allow Clark to work better.
Another offensive rebound. Delancey attacks the closeout and gets it to go. Rims around and down.
A tough shot.
11-point game.
And there's that zone again. Will the Wildcats be able to break it this time?
They
Cuts
do.
inside. Deshante Edwards swings the rock to the wing.
Inside. Clark, backdoor pass, Dorsey, and a reach-in foul. It's going to go on Sylvester.
And you almost don't want that reach-in foul to be called. Open shot possibly there for Chanel Wilson. But, in the grand, refs got to call what they see. But a great offensive possession, breaking that zone, swinging out to the wing, forcing the defenders to collapse in on the paint, and then having an open offensive player in Chanel Wilson at the three-point line, and who's exactly who you would want to see in that open shot position.
Oh, Wilson.
And she gets her points anyway, up and underneath the basket.
Beautiful body position to catch that, blocks the defender out offensively, and go up for the layup. Grizzle.
Crossover.
Sylvester back to Grizzle. Oh, no, she doesn't take the shot. She has to. He couldn't put the foot down or else he would have been called for a travel. Had to take the awkward jumper. It's loose on the ground. The Wildcats come away with it, and it's Wildcat ball off of Gilbert, and she is imploring the referee that it was last touched by Dunn. They might review this.
Yeah. Deshante Edwards.
And they changed it.
Yep. Deshante Edwards trying to get the ball out to a teammate. And Kayla White was not out there.
Dunn. It's Dunn.
Dunn was out there behind her trying to get the ball from her, and she would not let her take it. So the ball kind of ends up going out of bounds and becoming a Rattler possession again.
Sylvester, Euro, good.
Now it's an 11-point lead.
And Clark runs into Dunn. The ball is loose on the ground.
And now they've collapsed.
Tucker has it and is fouled. There have been some crazy sequences in this game, Henson.
I don't think I've seen that before. Kind of, if you've ever played a basketball video game, kind of a glitch there. Runs into your own player, loses possession of the ball, and then just a scramble for it. All the Rattlers players closed in to try to get the ball. And if that ball keeps bouncing, I think the Wildcats get that with nobody back home.
Media timeout as Janelle Creighton calls timeout to just try and settle her team down. Sabrina, it's been happening all night, these kind of crazy sequences. Nobody can hold on to the ball. What do you think is the main culprit of that?
I think it's an interesting take. The Rattlers, honestly, I feel like they're speeding up their game a little bit so they can put some more points up, so they can try and catch up. We're at the fourth quarter, 7 minutes left, 7 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game. So they're trying to do as much as they can, and it's starting to look a little chaotic. So hopefully the Wildcats can, see that and slow their game down so they're able to, properly defend.
And the Wildcats on the offensive end looked a little bit cold in this quarter. Only 2 shots attempted by the Wildcats as they had some trouble getting to the painted area. What do they need to do differently on offense when they do get the ball into the front court?
You need to hold on to it. I think that's one thing with the institute. The Wildcats can't hold on to their ball and watch those little moves that the Rattlers make, because there's a little bit of mistakes that they're playing, but they catch themselves. So if the Wildcats can catch that, I think that we have the opportunity to take those skills and we'll be able to do it.
There is no BC without you. Show your support for Bethune-Cookman Athletics by joining the Wildcat Champions Club today. Help us build a championship culture at Bethune-Cookman. You can donate and join at cookman.scalefunder.com. That's cookman.scalefunder.com. 11-point lead for the Wildcats. 7:43 to go. Henson, Sabrina talked about holding on to the ball. The Wildcats only have 2 shots in the quarter, FAMU 6. So it's a crooked number right now in the offensive department for the Wildcats, and we have seen this kind of inconsistency throughout the season.
Yep. This is nothing new for the Wildcats in terms of this offensive inconsistency. A good job down, getting the ball through that zone by Deshante Edwards. Clark cuts into the basket.
Baseline runner, she'll go to the line. Clark will go to the line for the 3rd time today. She is 2 for 4 from the charity stripe in her first 2 appearances. The Miami Central High School product leads this team in field goal percentage, rebounds, and blocks.
She'll look to make both these free throws and really settle the nerves of the Wildcat audience. You know, you have this double-digit lead, and if you keep making offensive mistakes, no team is going to let you get away with that for an entire quarter.
And Kayla Clark has had kind of an off afternoon. Only 2 rebounds for her, and she leads the SWAC in rebounds per game with 8.1. Almost a push off, a slip by Sylvester, and that's a foul going to be called against Edwards, as the crowd was calling for a traveling violation when Sylvester slipped.
Yeah. Edwards at first was going to try to argue against it, but I guess immediately was like, yeah, I did foul her. And just kind of goes, my bad, to Coach Creighton.
12 points the advantage for the Wildcats. This game not over at all, not even close. Ariana Grizzle guarded by Edwards. To the incredible performance today, a travel of Olivia Delancey.
At first I thought, once again, there's been so many travels in this game that almost, due to how they land, look like fouls. Oh.
Bad inbounds by Tucker. Subirats fouls.
And that's a foul for real this time.
That's going to be on Wilson, and her 4th foul for Chanel Wilson.
Yeah. And that's the last thing you want, is one of your best offensive players possibly getting fouled out, as Tucker's had 2 kind of messy inbounds plays in this 4th quarter.
The Wildcats have turned the ball over 14 times. The Rattlers 15 times. Both about the average turnovers per game. First one up, back iron and good for Yvette Subirats from Barcelona.
We're having fun saying Subirats.
Subirats, yeah. First 2 college seasons at Ball State for her, and an offensive rebound off the miss. Another rebound for Gilbert.
Rebound. She gets up and under
and
easily. And now it's only a 9-point Wildcat lead.
Got to get the ball in the front court, they do.
And they slow down the possession now.
Deshante Edwards trying to drain some sand through the hourglass. You can't really focus on that, though. There's still 6.5 minutes left.
She's caught. Deshante Edwards was calling for an ISO, but wasn't getting it. Open space.
Attacks the closeout floater. Yes, at the end of the shot clock.
Now that's a perfect possession in this late game situation. Take all the time off the clock and getting a good layup, beating the buzzer for your shot clock and scoring some points, putting the lead back out while taking as much time off as possible.
And with Chanel Wilson off the floor with 4 fouls, Delancey misses it short. The rebound is loose, and eventually it's grabbed by Deshante Edwards. Edwards, coast to coast, offensive foul.
Charge, yeah. Kind of just runs in. That's their 4th foul.
So we've got the 2 highest scoring guards in the game for the Wildcats, both with 4 fouls, Wilson and Edwards. The other 2 top scorers are the 2 forwards, McDonald with 16 and Clark with 9.
Yep. And the last thing you want is to make this a free throw shooting game, because all of a sudden you have 2 players that genuinely cannot foul unless you want them to have to sit down.
The Wildcats clinging to this 11-point lead. It feels like they're up by 2 with the way this pace of play is gone. Nice reach by Clark to poke the ball away from Delancey. Olivia recollects, up and under, no good. Clark with the board. White, past Subirats and into the front court. The Wildcats will slow it down again with Kerrigan Dunn, the Texarkana, Texas native.
Top of the key. Kayla White gets it on the wing here.
In down low to McDonald, and McDonald turns it over. And then Delancey turns it over. And Deshante Edwards is hurting as she limps to the bench. Damani Dorsey replaces her, and she is in some obvious discomfort, and we hope all is well with Deshante.
She's been playing her you-know-what off all game, following Grizzle all over the court.
She leads the team in rebounds, and she's 5'7".
Yeah, doing all that she can all game. So obviously prayers out. Hopefully it's nothing major.
5 minutes left. Dorsey in the corner. Wilson down low against Grizzle. Excuse me, Chanel McDonald. Grizzle gets the steal. Ariana, coast to coast, pushes off, gets the hoop. 9-point game.
4-ish minutes left. This zone coming back out for the Rattlers. The Wildcats break it, get it up court, and now they're draining the time off the clock again.
Kayla White is going to have to run the offense with so many Wildcats in foul trouble. Dorsey, back to White. She fires a 3. Oh, she got it! Right in front of the Wildcats bench. Kayla White up to 11 points. Timeout Rattlers. That is a massive bucket.
Massive shot. Coach Gordon obviously irate at that defensive possession, and the Wildcats do a great job working, getting that open look for Kayla White. She does a great job making that, and now, once again, some breathing room. The funny thing is the Wildcats have had breathing room this entire 4th quarter. It has not felt like that in Moore Gymnasium, but we push her back out to 12 points.
Maybe it's the rivalry game. Maybe it's the scrappiness and franticness of which this game has been played. Sabrina's been watching all the action. Can the Wildcats close this out in the last 4 minutes?
I think if they continue to keep doing what they're doing by draining the timeout and, watching for those passes, I think they are in a great chance of winning these games. The Rattlers are not going down without a fight, though. That's one thing for sure. And hopefully Edwards is feeling better, because one thing about it, she's been all over the court tonight for the Wildcats team. So we're just going to have to see and wait and look.
Edwards leads the team in rebounds with 8. She's 2 rebounds from a double-double. She is standing up and in the huddle, so maybe hopefully it's just a cramp and not anything more serious.
Right.
And the last thing you want her to do is play on something that's injured, because that just can aggravate it even more.
Yeah, and of course the Wildcats have had some injury struggles. Kamara Langston not with the team. Nia Jordan not with the team. Chariot Johnson did not warm up today. She's struggling with an injury. Cariana Woods hasn't played since the FIU game, so really kind of a tough situation for Coach Creighton when a lot of your depth pieces are out. You have to rely on your, your starting roster more, and that's why the Wildcats are in so much foul trouble.
Right, and we want to make sure that these players are playing safe as well, because at the end of the day, we're relying on it.
4 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in Moore Gymnasium, and we're not done. We've got the men's team against Florida A&M coming up in the second game of our doubleheader. We'll count all the action for you here on the CatEye Network. Stay tuned. Wildcats with 4 players in double figures. It's been a balanced attack for the Wildcats offensively. For Florida A&M, it's just Olivia Delancey. 26 points for her, 11 for Grizzle, and then 9 for Gilbert, and that's it. 4 minutes to go. Grizzle matched up with White. Delancey.
Matched up with Clark.
That's a favorable matchup for the offensive player, but Clark does a great job. Back out Grizzle, who drains a 3.
Grizzle is keeping this team in it, along with Delancey. 26 points for Delancey, 11 for Grizzle. As the
almost a turnover, and I think it was a bad pass. The pass was too high, and I think the Wildcats got lucky the pass was so bad because Sylvester couldn't corral it for the steal. But they have 1 second to get it into the front court, which is going to limit a lot of the offensive options here on this inbound. Clark is going to take it. I think somebody's going to have to get open by where the Wildcats word mark is in front of the bench, and they're going to have to throw it in the front court. I wouldn't use the backcourt here with 1 second left.
And they will look to not do that. They immediately get it up past the half-court line, taking more time off the clock. The one thing about that half-court time is you're taking more time off. Kayla White,
step back,
tough shot.
And over the back against Dorsey, and that's a pretty clear-cut call, but nice fight from Dorsey to try and pick up that ball.
Yeah, and she knows how important that second chance opportunity would have been. It really would have made it more difficult for the Rattlers to come back into this game. You get a whole nother shot clock to work and possibly score.
And that puts the Rattlers in the bonus, so they'll be shooting every foul for the last 3:26. You talked about not making this a free throw shooting contest. And here we go. It'll be Nishanti Gilbert, the Daytona State transfer from Palm Beach, the former Florida Sun Sentinel Player of the Year at Oxbridge Academy High School.
3 for 4 from the line going into this attempt. And that'll make it 4 for 5. And they've been, the Rattlers have been shooting well from the line overall. Delancey and Gilbert really carrying their percentage, and Grizzle's only been to the line once. Or twice, rather, 1 for 2.
Both made. 7-point game, 3:26. Clark in the middle of the floor. Overhand pass. Dorsey will slow it down.
Bullet pass over to Damani Dorsey. Back to her.
Dorsey against Grizzle. McDonald down low. Clark.
Oh!
What a block by Delancey, and it's FAMU ball. She does it all. She scores points. She gets rebounds, and now a ridiculous rejection by Delancey.
Blocked it with her whole upper body. Slams it down, forcing the possession back to the Rattlers through, it almost looked like willpower there.
2-possession game, 3 minutes to go. Wildcats will try and trap in the backcourt. They get it across to Gilbert. Grizzle from the wing, too strong, but it comes right back to Gilbert, another offensive rebound. Ariana kicks, extra
to
pass,
the corner,
good. Delancey again, 29 points for Olivia Delancey. Timeout, Bethune-Cookman, 4-point game.
The Rattler fans that have made the trip over have done a great job, doing a great job supporting their team here as the Rattlers make this a close game, 4 points. This is how it felt the entire fourth quarter, and now the point and the score line reflects it.
What a major turnaround for the Rattlers here. Wildcats are going to have to press, because we can tell that the Rattlers as well is always going to have to press as well. An 8-0 run. I think this is the longest that we've had so far for FAMU. What do you think, Henson?
The Wildcats are scoreless in the last almost 2 minutes. 1 for 6 from the three-point line, trying to put it away, and it hasn't really worked out for them. These turnovers and missed opportunities have really cost them, making this a 2-point game. I mean, we're getting different things on the scoreboard in our official little score sheets that we have here.
So 4-point lead with the CU right now. So with 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the game, let's see if they can turn it around.
Wildcats are going to have to run time off the clock in every position, which they have been doing, but they're also going to have to score. 67 points is not going to be enough to win them this game with the way the FAMU offense is clicking. It's almost a steal off the inbounds. And the FAMU crowd that has traveled down here to Daytona Beach is on their feet behind the FAMU bench. Oh, long
open
pass
pocket to Edwards.
Edwards scores and one. Sylvester ran her into the wall, and that brings the Wildcats supporters back to their feet.
Kayla Clark, Tom Brady-esque throw over there. Deep pass to Edwards, break it away from the press. Ignore the press. Why play into it if you can make that pass consistently? Gets an open shot, gets fouled, makes the easy layup opportunity, sends herself to the line and one. Possibility, misses it though.
Sylvester Delancey gets the board. 69-63. 2:30 left. The crowd gets loud. Grizzle to her left. Step back.
Fade away.
No. It's another offensive board. Grizzle open for three.
Off again. And finally a board for the Wildcats. They've looked to break in pace.
In transition, it's Dorsey. Pull-up
jumper.
Short. McDonald the board and a foul. The Wildcats get a clutch bucket, and listen, I am all for going for some quick shots if you're Bethune-Cookman, but you got to take some time off the clock.
Yeah.
If you got to steal, make sure to drain that clock.
Yeah, take some of the sting out of the ball. There's no reason to force that shot up, but if you have an easy open look, I mean, you kind of have to take it. There's no reason really not to. Delancey kind of wraps herself up in McDonald and Clark, and then McDonald tries to break away. The foul is called. They get the rebound, keep possession, and now McDonald has a chance to spread this lead out a little bit more.
McDonald. No! Oh! 2 for 2 from the line there, barely. 71-63.
And that free throw was a great microcosm of the game. That's just how it's been feeling all night. Will they, won't they?
And that's a foul, which will send Sylvester to the line.
But you'd argue it's a smart foul. We haven't seen Sylvester on the line at all. So you got to wonder, you know, what does she have from the line? She only averages 50% from there, 6 for 11 coming into this attempt. And you stop her from making an easy-ish layup. You know, this could work out in the Wildcats' favor.
Yeah, Piriana Sylvester, the native of Daytona Beach, a Spruce Creek grad. At the line, and you can see why she's only 54% from the line. Her mechanics a little jerky. College freshman year for Sylvester at North Florida, did not play, and then transferred to FAMU. Gets the second one to go. 71-64.
7-point lead. Kayla Clark in the pocket.
Wide open is Damani Dorsey, and the Wildcats will work it up. Nice strength from White to get into the front court. She weaves through traffic and backs up to the logo.
She has 20 seconds to work with. Passing it to Edwards, who apparently was fine after that little empty score.
Into Clark, makes her defender miss, goes to the hoop, and gets it! Kayla Clark.
That's exactly what you want to see from Kayla Clark. Grizzle kicks it out. Easy layup opportunity there for Yvette Subarats.
And it's something interesting to note, we did not see Chanel Wilson is fouled out. It was her foul the last time that sent Sylvester to the line.
Yep.
Jump ball. BCU has the possession arrow. So Wildcats without their leading scorer in the last 1 minute 9. McDonald has 18. Wilson is fouled out with 14. Edwards 12. White and Clark both have 11. The balance of scoring with this Bethune-Cookman team has really put them over the top today.
Yeah. That's exactly what you want to see offensively, while Delancey has been carrying the offensive workload for the Rattlers. 29 points.
A steal by Grizzle, but a foul.
No.
Oh no, they called a foul on Edwards, and she is done.
Fouled out.
I thought they called the foul on Grizzle. No, it's on Deshante Edwards.
And that's a bonus. So they sent her to the line immediately with 1 minute left. And I was going to question why the Rattlers weren't trying to foul the Wildcats players with this much time left already, especially since both teams are already in the bonus. But if you get a turnover like that, all of a sudden the Wildcats are missing two of their top three scorers heading into this last minute.
1 minute and 1 second. Grizzle at the line. She shoots 76% from the stripe. Originally from Toronto, Canada, played with the Canadian youth national teams. And I think a timeout has been called.
Or a quick huddle there.
Nope, they're going to go back to the line. Grizzle, first 3 college seasons at Alabama, didn't play much, only averaged 1.1 points, and then came to FAMU last year, averaged 10.9, and was second on the team in scoring. And this year, she's just exploded onto the scene, averaging 17.9 points, but kind of an off night for her today. Just 14.
And the fact that just 14 is kind of an off night for her kind of speaks volumes to how good of a player she is.
But they've gotten a mammoth performance from Olivia Delancey, 29 points. Got to get the ball inbounds. They do. 1 minute. Done. Cross court. White gets into the front court. No foul. White. Floater. Missed it.
Gets the board.
Offensive back.
And foul.
Offensive board for McDonald. I'm stumbling over my words. Apologies.
Yeah.
She'll go to the line.
Now, I was concerned a little bit when Kayla White just kind of takes that jumper instead of taking some more of the time off the clock. You're already up. There's really no reason. Obviously, you want them to score more to make the lead, you know, stretch it out a little bit, but there's really no need to keep trying to press the offensive, push the offensive pace rather. And
first one good from McDonald. Thank you to the over 300 of you watching on the CatEye Network right now. Our first day of SWAC competition here on the CatEye Network for basketball this year. McDonald in a massive spot. The second free throw is good. 75-68. Timeout, Rattlers. And for the final time today, before we hit the last one, let's hear from Sabrina. What have you saw in the last couple of minutes?
The Rattlers are not going down as a fight, as I said before, but it's cutting really close. So one thing that we can't afford to have is have all these fouls. So one thing I think Wildcats should do is, you know, try to keep their hands together, make sure that there's clean passes. You see that FAMU is pressing off of the points that they make. So if the Wildcats can break these presses and get to the other side of the court, then we might have the winning advantage.
The other thing the Wildcats have to not do is turn the ball over. You cannot turn the ball over off inbounds. You know they're going to press. You have to break that press, get it into the front court, and force them to foul you. You cannot give them easy buckets.
Let's see what's going on.
We are coming down to the end here of game one. It's only game one. We have another whole game after this as the men's teams take the floor. 75-68. Rattlers ball. But the Wildcats without Wilson and Edwards both have fouled out. And credit to Jalea Sharp, who's played this entire fourth quarter with 4 fouls and stayed in the game. Grizzle catches at the top of the key. Step back for 3. Good!
Oh my gosh. Kayla White was on her like a straitjacket. It didn't matter. Tough shot over her. And now it's a 4-point game.
Get it in.
Another great throw.
Oh, it's on the money. And it's a score for Kerrigan Dunn. Beautiful. Call her Tom Brady. Delancey.
That's off.
Wild off the mark. Air ball foul by Sylvester, and the Wildcats will go to the line. The 2 defining moments of this game, I think, are the 2 long passes from Kayla Clark to find wide open Wildcats down the floor for easy layups late in the game. And the crowd was trying to sing the Rattlers out of Moore Gymnasium.
Kayla Clark might get a couple calls from the New York Jets tomorrow after this performance. 2 deep passes, breaking the press twice and allowing easy layups and, you know, really energy shifting moments in both of them. The Rattlers going into both of those possessions were really pushing the pace and then just get broken over.
But it's a missed free throw for Kayla White.
Now the Rattlers are still in this game if Kayla White doesn't put these away.
It's still a 2-possession game. She doesn't hit this one. 6-point game. Missed it. Long rebound.
Timeout.
Timeout, Rattlers. Come be a part of BCU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. Oh, there is no timeout.
Nope.
Excuse me, there is no timeout.
We got pump faked, I guess, by the referees here.
37 seconds left. 77-71, Wildcats lead. Subirats to Grizzle. Grizzle's been huge in the fourth quarter. Can she get another shot to keep this one close? She drives under the basket, out of bounds. No, she's gonna go to the line.
They're gonna say that was a shot.
No, it's a bonus, it doesn't matter.
But
I didn't think there was a foul there.
Yeah.
She must have gotten pushed out of bounds. And Grizzle goes to the line.
now if she makes these, it's still a 2-possession game. Unless they would get a miraculous 4-point play. So no shot
I think
clock.
it's important for the Wildcats not to foul, because if you foul, the clock stops. Grizzle hits the first one and gives them more opportunities, puts time back in the game.
The shot clock not a factor anymore. So look for the Rattlers to foul as quickly as they can and try to make sure the ball doesn't get into McDonald's hands.
4-point
But she's
game.
open here.
Clark looking
it to
deep
her.
again. McDonald's got it into the front court for Dunn. Dunn just trying to run out the clock. She skates by Subirats and is fouled.
Now I almost wanted McDonald to hold the ball there just so that she would be sent to the line. She's done a great job, 10 of 11 overall in this game, but obviously taking more time off the clock is critical. 24.5.
This is Kerrigan Dunn's first trip to the line in the game. She only shoots 54% on the season, and she gets the first one. 78-73.
Trying to make it a 6-point game.
The junior transfer from Kilgore College in Texarkana, Texas, gets both. 79-73.
That's some clutch factor for you.
Grizzle
behind the back. Crossover, driving, kick out.
No three from Sylvester. She drives, puts it in. 14 seconds left.
But
Wildcats got to get it in. They do. Clark is fouled.
Now the clock didn't go at all there.
Well, sometimes if you foul super quick like that, the person running the clock can't click it fast enough. But I think that's honestly okay if you're the Wildcats, right? You don't give up a three. It's still a 4-point game. If Clark can hit at least one of these, you're still in a good position with 14 seconds left. You just got to drop back and don't foul.
Yeah, that possession took a lot of time off the clock for the Rattlers, and you're only getting 2 points out of it. I mean, that's if they're gonna score, that's the best kind of case scenario. As Clark misses the first free throw and visibly frustrated with that shot.
This is going to be very interesting when these two teams meet again at the end of the regular season up in Tallahassee. Clark misses both. Timeout, FAMU. 4-point game, 14.6 left. It is not over.
Whatsoever. Every time we seem to have these double headers, the women's team loves to make it interesting.
Come be a part of BCU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. If you or your business is interested in partnering with us here on the CatEye Network, you can reach out to the Wildcats Athletic Communications Department at BCU Sports Info at cookman.edu. That's BCU Sports Info at cookman.edu. And when the Wildcats had a 15-point lead at 55-40 with 1 minute to go in the third, Henson, we thought that this might be it and the Wildcats would walk away with it, but credit to FAMU. They've outscored the Wildcats 29-20 in this fourth quarter. They have 9 more shot attempts than BCU in this quarter. They have continued to fight back. as Yvette Subirats has fouled out of the game.
Yeah. Grizzle is a major component as to why they're back in this game. Delancey kind of cooled down in this fourth quarter, and she kind of heated up, getting to 21 points, 4 steals, 5 from 6 in the line, and 0 assists. She has been an ISO, I do not swing the rock player throughout this last couple of minutes in this fourth quarter, and it's been working. She's a major reason why it's a 4-point game with 14 seconds left. 14
seconds left. If you're the Wildcats, deny the 3 and don't foul. In it goes.
Oh, the steal.
Delancey coughs up the ball. Dunn running out the clock, and she's fouled by Delancey. The Wildcats, the beneficiary of a bad pass off the inbounds and a turnover.
Something that's been playing in the Wildcats all night, day. It's still only 3 p.m. down here in Daytona Beach. But something that's been plaguing them is those kind of bad passes and awkward turnovers, and it finally shakes the rattle this way for the Wildcats, but a missed free throw opportunity here. And now the Wildcats
will just go all the way back and defend. As Damani Dorsey alone at the free throw line.
What if she gets her own board here? But she makes a shot. We don't have to think about that at all.
5-point game, 10 seconds left. Grizzle racing up the floor.
Look for a pull-up 3, step back.
She shoots.
It's
off. It's short. Another offensive rebound.
Foul.
And it's a foul. And Janelle Creighton hangs her head
after that foul. Thought she was getting ready for a post-game talk. And now there's 2 seconds left.
And we talked about this at the beginning of the game, Hinson, the inconsistency for the Wildcats on the offensive side of the ball. It kind of came back to bite them a little bit this quarter.
After we talked about the lack of
the missed free throw from Gilbert. Go ahead.
The struggles of the third quarter, they blew them out in the third quarter and then went into this fourth quarter and kind of just coasted. And if they didn't have that big lead in the third quarter, we're looking at a losing game possibly from the Wildcats.
Timeout, Bethune-Cookman. They get to advance the ball with 1.9 seconds to go. And if you're the Wildcats, just get somebody open, throw them the ball, and run for your life and don't get fouled. 4-point game, 80-76.
Not a lot of time for the Rattlers to mount a comeback here. If you're a Rattler fan, you're hoping that the Wildcats mess this inbounds pass up. You get the ball quickly, you shoot it like immediately, and then you have about a second, 0.8 seconds, something of that nature left. But even then, it's just a very hard position for the Rattlers to come back from down 4. If it was down 3 or 2, we'd have a different discussion. But down 4, this is a rough spot.
Crowd's been great. It's been amazing seeing the students packed into this gym again for the first time since last spring.
The alumni packing the seats as well. Even the Rattler faithful that have made the trip down from taking I-10 to 95 and coming down to Daytona Beach, getting off at International, are over by Buc-ee's. So
a lot of people here to support Bridget Gordon. She's originally from DeLand as well, so a lot of local family here to support FAMU. The Wildcats need to inbound safely here.
And look at the play.
Dorsey, the gunner. It goes into the backcourt.
And the game is over.
Rattlers don't foul. This one belongs to the maroon and gold. The Wildcats win it 80-76 in a game they had to claw for every inch. The Rattlers came back at the death and almost pinched it, but the Wildcats hang on. They go to 10-4 and 1-0 in conference play. Sabrina, your thoughts on the last 5 minutes?
It's a great day to be a Wildcat here at the Moore Gymnasium. What a rival game that nobody went down with a fight. The Rattlers honestly surprised me. They made this a fight between the Wildcats, but at the end, the Wildcats won it all. Well, we'll see for next year, though. But let's get ready for the men's game that is happening in about 25 minutes.
All right, here are your final scoring totals. First for Florida A&M, Olivia Delancey, fantastic. 29 points on 11 of 26 shooting, 4 for 9 from beyond the arc. 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Grizzle, 21 points on 7 of 22 shooting, 5 of 6 from the charity stripe, and a team-high 4 steals. Gilbert with 12, Sylvester with 5, Yvette Subirats with 5, Brennan, Latore, and Sharp all with 2, and the other Subirats did not score. For the Wildcats, Chanel McDonald, 20 points for her. That's a season high. Chanel Wilson, 14, but fouled out. Deshante Edwards, 12, but fouled out. Kayla White, 11. Kayla Clark, 11. 5 players, Henson, in double figures for Bethune-Cookman today.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of point spreading from the Wildcats this season, and this game has been no different. McDonald, Wilson, Edwards, White, Clark, all with more than 10 points. Wilson and Edwards didn't even play for much of that ending sequence, with both of them fouling out after playing 32 minutes total. McDonald had no fouls, which is very impressive, especially for a taller player. You know, you have players driving at you all game. You'd expect her to at least pick up 1 or 2. She did a great job tonight. And overall, a decent performance from the Wildcats. This game shouldn't have been that close towards the end. If that fourth quarter went a slightly better, we're looking at a double-digit easy win for the Wildcats. But, you know, they kept Grizzle off of her game until late, which is a major factor and major reason why they didn't win this game. Also, Kayla Clark stepping back in the pocket, reading the room, and getting 2 open fast break opportunities for the Wildcats at clutch moments, I'd really say were my moments of the night.
Here are your team stats. FAMU out-rebounded Bethune-Cookman 38-32 and 17-9 on the offensive glass. And that's going to be, I'm sure, Coach Creighton's sticking point and in the media availability after this game.
Yeah. You know, you can't win, or it'll be very tough to, as we see, to win and allow that many offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities. It gives your team less opportunities while giving the other team a lot more morale. I'm gonna miss my shot, I'm gonna get my board back. We're gonna just reset and restart, which we saw the Rattlers do and take advantage of in that fourth quarter, as well as that first and second. The only time they really weren't on their game was that third quarter where the Wildcats pulled away.
Here are the rest of the team stats. Bethune-Cookman out-assisted FAMU 23-12. Both teams turned the ball over 17 times. The Wildcats scored 16 points off turnovers. The Rattlers 12. Both teams had 2 blocks. The Wildcats had 23 fast break points to the Rattlers 18. As Henson said, that was his critical moment of the game. 11 steals for the Wildcats, 10 for the Rattlers. 38 points in the paint for Bethune-Cookman, 34 for FAMU. Both teams really pounded the ball underneath the basket today. Second chance points, 17-10 in favor of Florida A&M, a result of all those offensive rebounds. And that will do it. 80-76, the final score. The Wildcats are 1-0 in conference play. They beat the FAMU Rattlers. We'll step aside and we'll start the next stream as the men's team for Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M take the floor next. This is Bethune-Cookman University Basketball on the CatEye Network.